All right, so we're in Skyslope. We're starting again at create new transaction. And we are doing a purchase. Idalia, you could try the both purchase and listing option on yours because that's what you have going on. But we're going to just start with the purchase. Otherwise, you can make two separate files. Either one, it's up to you. Pre-contract, because we're going to start with the buyer broker services agreement. So that's the pre-contract option here. We don't have an existing file. If you've done a deal with this person already, that would probably be an existing file. So then it'll transfer over a lot of the names and stuff. This is going to be for Washington, and it's a Washington residential sale. If it's, referral is in here too, like if you're referring a deal to somebody else and you get a percentage, then you put that in there. Lot land, commercial, they're all in there. So you just pick the right one, and that'll be the checklist that you have to complete. Company name would be if there's company, an LLC, or even like a long trust name that's complicated, that's not just a first and last name. The names I put in here are not going to match the contracts because I'm not, and see, you would check this also if it's a company. One or the other is not optional depending on what you pick. But I'm just sticking stuff in here to fill spaces because you guys can figure out what it means. All right. So the pre-contract part is super simple, right? Because all we have are the BBSA and the P1. So we're going to go to documents and we're going to download files. Oh, what is it one? Please, oh, we're not going to download. We're going to upload. We're going to upload a file. We're going to start with this BBSA that a mentee just turned into me the other day. Then so that we're on the documents tab, we just uploaded it. Now we're going to split it. We're going to hit this split button. The split button pulls it up and we get to assign each page to the correct place. So we're going to call the first part, it's going to be that form 41. So 41, and we can look over here on the right. It's page 1, 2, 3. All right, so pages 1 through 3 are the BBSA, the form 41, and the checklist item is the form 41. So it's going to just assign this on the checklist, those 3 pages to the form 41. Then we add a page, and we're going to put P1 here, and that's the other pages. So that's 4 through 7. And there's not really a checklist item for the P1. So you can not assign it a checklist item if you don't want to, or else you can assign it to other. Either one works. I missed other. Sometimes it's hard to talk and scroll at the same time, especially when I haven't even woken up in the morning. All right. So we assigned both of those things. We're going to split and assign with this button down here on the left, and it's done. Those two are split and assigned. So we were on the documents tab. Now, like this is the full document, and now it's got the split apart document. So there's extra documents here on the documents tab, but it has assigned those to the right checklist items. So the form 41 is here. If you want to see it, you click on the paper clip and you can look at it. It's an extra tab, so I can close it. And then the other one we assigned in other addendums, so it's down here. This is the fastest, easiest way to do a buyer broker agreement. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I wanted the,
Melanie, so the reason for splitting it is so that it'll appear on the top and then on the bottom already checked off.
yes, because you
Okay.
wanted to go into all the different checklist items. And it's
Okay.
not that hard for the BBSA, as you just saw. There's only
Hmm.
2 items. It's super simple. Worst case scenario, you could put the BBSA with the P1 right here, and I don't know if they'd even complain. It would probably be fine. But as we accepted a contract in a minute, you'll see that there's a lot of value to it.
Yeah.
So this is the BBSA. That's like the whole thing. That's all you need to do because there's no transaction details yet. But
Hmm.
now, like Idalia, you have your BBSA for your clients, and you also already have the contract for them to buy that new property because you're totally rocking it. So you'll start with that part, and now we're going to hit accept contract. Do you guys see the accept contract button? And we're going to turn this into a full buyer agreement, and you'll see that, there's a lot more um, to fill out and stuff once we have a contract. So convert this to an accepted contract. Yes, we're going to create that full transaction. And but again, that contract is already in my ML in my Skyslope, so I'm less hopeful that one will work. There we go. All right, this is where I'm doing an open house today. Okay, I pulled the address in. We're going to just go with that then. It should work when you just put in the MLS. So I've got to figure out what the problem is. But I'm going to add the MLS number here, a street address. I'm just making up information, but you wouldn't do that when you're actually doing a sky slope because that would be silly. The price on this one right now is $650. Contract acceptance date. So that's going to be, you're going to edit that for the date that your contract actually got accepted. So not necessarily the input date. So if I've been sitting on my contract for a few days and it was signed on February 3rd, then you've got to change it to February 3rd. Expecting closing date is whenever that is. Um, and I don't, oh, okay. So this is your marketing, how you found it. So I'm doing an open house or calling or whatever it is you use. Um, so then you're going to put in all your names again. And you could, if there's 2 sellers, you're going to add a second seller. Brokerage. Oh, the listing agent is going to be a different brokerage, you know. And really, you've got to fill a lot of this out, and it's annoying, but they just need the data. So you've got to do it, even though it feels like a lot. And there it's already got me. So now this is where you guys are going to add me to your contracts, into your Skyslope. So it'll already have your name here, but add another agent. And it's probably not going to see. See, you just type in the name, and there I've added Idalia as a second agent on my contract, which means that when Idalia goes into her Skyslope, she will see this transaction and she would be able to make edits to it and change it and make sure that all the paperwork is right. So I want you guys to add me for the same reason so that I can see what questions contract compliance has for you and make sure that everything is set up correctly. Your primary contact most of the time is going to be escrow, and you just put the stuff in. They're going to be really mad at me. I'm just messing with their stuff. You can ask to get title or escrow started now, but I've never done that through Skyslope. I've always already had title or escrow started. Um, Generally, title and escrow are the same, and you don't really need one to do both of them in there. If there is financing as the buyer's agent, you need to add the loan officer. Are you going to be using a transaction coordinator? Um, all transaction coordinators, if they are licensed, need to be licensed through eXp Realty. So if you are ever looking at one, they need to be licensed through eXp Realty, or we are breaking all sorts of licensing laws. Not a referral agreement. So sales commission is going to be what they're paying the buyer broker, and that should be on your contract. Listing commission, I don't have to necessarily put on. That's why it's optional. I'm not the listing agent. I may not even know. So if you don't know don't worry about it. Commission split. Don't add any money for me on here. I'm not charging you extra money. I just want to be able to see it. EXP will take care of my split separately. So if you put 10% in here for me, which is what I get paid, then I would get paid 20%. And I'm not asking you to pay anything extra. I'm just asking you to put my name in here so I can see it. Any other deductions or commission notes? You just keep going. Will the brokerage hold the earnest money? This should pretty much always be no. We don't hold earnest money. It's labeling all of these optional, so you don't necessarily have to fill in all this earnest money stuff, but you do have to upload a copy of the earnest money receipt. It will be on the checklist because we need to prove that it's actually been paid. So now we're in the same transaction that we were before. Like here's our BBSA, but all the details have been filled out because we've now actually have a contract with address and all of that good stuff. So yeah, all this stuff is here. So now we're going to go to documents again and upload the contract. This contract is not even for the same people or property as the other one. We're just making up a sample that's going to make contract compliance mad at me. That's what we're doing. All right. So now I've got the rent in offer signed here, and we're going to split it. And instead of a 7-page document like we were looking at last time, we've got like a 40-page document or something. But they're so smart that they've already done most of it for us, which is really amazing. So we're going to double check their work. They've got Form 21, and this is our Form 21, and it is 6 pages. Cool. So now we're on page 7. It says here above the document, we're on page 7. Page 7 is the 22A, and it's got us listed as the 22A. Cool. So we're going to scroll by, and that's right. Now we're on page 10. It says 22D, and I check here on the left, and it says the 22D is pages 10 and 11. Like this is simple. They've made it pretty easy for us. The 22J here is pages 12 and 13. Now we're on the 22K. It's 1 page, 14. We've got 22S, which is a septic addendum for King County. Page 15. Yep, it's just that 1 page. 22T is page 16. 35 is 17 and 18. Yep. 19 is not other. So we are going to assign this one. 19 is the legal description. And that is something that is required. If I can find it. There we go. Legal description labeled as Exhibit A. So we're going to pick that one, and we're going to change this to Exhibit A. So they did pretty well, but we got to check their work. 22E is the FERPTA, and then Form 17, page 22 through 26. And that's the whole thing. So they assigned almost all of the documents correctly for us. So they made it pretty darn simple. So once you've double checked the work and made sure everything is assigned to the correct checklist item, you're going to hit this blue split and assign down at the bottom. If you only hit split, it's going to add all of these different pieces to the document list, but it won't assign them in the checklist. So then you would have to go and manually assign each item to the checklist. It's way easier to just split and assign at the same time. All right. So now this is where we're at with the checklist. So what we have left here are these red ones for sure. So number 3, Jen is going to have to put in his earnest money deposit receipt, which usually happens a couple days after it happens. The MLS listing printout, which when you go into Matrix, you will open up the listing and you hit print to PDF, and the listing will and you can save the listing as a PDF, and you save that to your file, and that's what you upload and attach. Adalia, if yours isn't on the MLS, I would probably like screenshot the property plan on the website or something and upload that. And they'll tell you when everything's in review right now, they're going to go through and double check all these forms. And if that's not good enough, they'll type in here and tell you what you should do. Otherwise, if it's good enough, they'll approve it and you won't have to think about it again. But they give really helpful comments to remind you what needs to be done. So all of these are if applicable, and they're not applicable yet. Wiring fraud and the EXP business ones are ones that you need to send to your client just to have them sign. It doesn't have to be a part of the offer, so the other side of the deal does not have to get it. So Jen would just send these to, he's probably already done it, but with the pamphlet, um, he probably you'd send the get it inspected pamphlet and any other pamphlet, the lead paint pamphlet. I would send those along with these, which are basically just pamphlets also almost, and have my clients sign all those things and upload them. The correspondence and communication, email and texts, these are required by the DOL also. These are conversations that you have with your client about whether we should change prices or, what advice you give them on how to make a good offer. Like key communication that you have with your clients needs to get sent into Skyslope. There's a couple ways to do it. You can screenshot it and then put them all in a document if you want, or I don't know if you can upload the photos. The simple way, especially with emails, is each Skyslope file here has an email address. So if you're emailing something important to your clients, put this in the CC email address and it will already go right into your Skyslope. It'll show up in your documents and you'll just assign them a checklist item from your documents is the simplest way to do it. And then these closing documents will come at the end when you're doing closing. Does that make sense? Any questions?
Yes. So from this, whatever's red, you still need to upload. Are you able to create the form through here? Like just click on it and create the form, or you just always do it through transaction desk?
You'll do it through transaction desk and then get
Okay.
it signed and everything through transaction desk. They're separate systems. There maybe a way to do it.
I
So
just thought it was like
yeah,
one less step. Like you click on it and it's there, and
yeah.
then you get rid of. Okay.
There may be a way to do it, but I don't know what it is. I do it through
And
transaction desk. So
and
if
so
Bobby or
I'm
Diana can give you some hack that they know, awesome. tell me because I don't know it.
Okay. And for your TC, if you have a TC, she will take care of all of this.
Well, again, she has to be licensed through EXP if she's
Hmm.
licensed. And I really want you to know how to do it. Like
Right.
you need to show
Oh,
me that
yeah.
you know how to do it before you rely on a TC to do it. So I would prefer that you do it a few times and then your TC, if they're licensed through EXP, would be able to get access to your Skyslope and they would be able to be linked. But
Okay.
if they're not licensed through EXP, this is all confidential information for our firm. So you can't give a different firm access to it. And if something goes wrong, which firm has to defend who? So there's a
Hmm.
lot of legal implications if it's a TC that's not licensed with EXP. So that's why it's
Hmm.
not allowed.
Okay.
But I mean, you came in with a TC, so I guess you've got to figure out what your process is.
Hmm.
But I really, really want to know that you know how to do it.
Okay.
And that you understand the process because that's going to make you more confident in working with your clients and showing them that you understand the whole process. Not that they're checking your back end paperwork, but like if they ever have a question, you will understand the whole process to be able to answer it and you will feel more confident.
Hmm. Okay.
So, yeah, you're gonna have to figure out what you want to do with that information. But um, if your TC's licensed, they have to be licensed with EXP. If
Okay.
they're an unlicensed, then you have to make sure they're not accessing information that only a licensed person can access
Okay.
legally also. There's a lot of legal implications for TCs. So, but yes, TCs would do a lot of this in general. All right. Any other questions?
Mm. So I've done a couple transactions. I've never even entered into the other brokerages system. So this was all like very foreign to me.
Hmm.
I'll probably have questions down the road.
Absolutely. I am happy to help you guys learn all the things you need to learn. Like that's my job. I'm really happy to do it. I'm not happy to do it for you. That's the difference. Like so if you
Like a TC.
yeah, like I'm not your TC and I'm not going to do the research on your properties and what the numbers are and that kind of stuff, but I'm super happy to help to check your numbers. If you run a CMA, I am happy to check that CMA and, do my own quick research to see if I would have picked the same comps or to sit down with you on how to do a CMA if you don't know how. Like that is my job and I'm happy to do it. I just won't do it for you because you guys need to learn how to do it for yourself. Like that's how you become confident and ready to graduate and go kick butt forever, which is what I want for you.
Mhm.
Does
Okay.
that make sense?
Yes. So when you have just a regular BBA, it doesn't go through.
I lost you. Are you still talking? My internet's unstable. I'm not sure if you guys hear me.
You have a PSA.
I lost you in the middle there. I'm sorry. So when you have just the BBSA, you do that pre-contract part and you don't have to fill out addresses or sales prices or any
Okay.
of that because you don't have any of that yet. You just have a client with a contract. But
Okay.
the contract needs to be on file with the company within 2 days. So that needs to go into Skyslope right away. Unfortunately, you can't add me to your Skyslope file until you accept a contract. So you need to make sure your BBSA goes in there, and I can't look at it at all. So, except for when you send it to
Okay.
me through transaction desk. But then when you set up the final file, that's when, see, I've got my co-buyer agent here. So if you miss adding me in the first place, on your transaction tab here on the top left, it says co-buyer, and you add the other agent in here
Hmm.
if you didn't add me in the walkthrough at the beginning.
Okay. Alrighty.
All right, Adalia, does that help you get your contracts in? Do you have any questions? Does it make sense?
Yes, yes, I'm gonna do it right now. Yeah,
Okay.
I prefer to, yeah, to listen and, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Sounds
And
great.
yeah, but I'm